Hey Basket Brains, Kirby here, aka Darkwing Disc, and today I'm here with Fairway Media, and we bring you the Treesmack 5 Round 1 Feature Card. On it, we have John Albert, Dallas Garber, Phillip Raschokow, and Tyler Schrock. With me today, we have Christian Foster. Take it away, Christian.
Hey y'all, I just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors sponsoring the footage today. We're going to start off on hole 6, which is a pretty straightforward 278-foot shot. And we have Tyler shooting first.
Yeah, Tyler Schrock is sponsored by MVP, so I imagine he's throwing something like an Envy or an Entropy, something like that. What do you like to throw here?
Yeah, I like to take out a nice putter. I throw my Lucid Warden kind of straight up the gut with a tiny bit of fade. Hitting early and skidding up to the basket, I think, is the goal for a lot of these guys. There's John throwing his shot, fading a little bit early.
Looks like he barely missed that tree. That tree is definitely your only real obstacle on this hole when you're looking at the fairway.
It's just enough that it tempts you to throw into those bushes on the right, but you're totally right. It's the only thing in the way.
And our first throw out of Dallas. Good looking shot. My goodness.
That's perfect.
Young kid.
Hey, Kirby, what do you know about Dallas?
Young kid. I believe he's 14 years old. From the South Seattle kind of area. Not a lot about him. I'm excited to watch him play today. And here we have Phillip. This is actually his first MPO tournament ever, and he got it on film, which is awesome. Good for him.
That's awesome. Nice way to start with no pressure for your first MPO tournament. Here's John's putt. What do you think? 40 out. Nice spin putt. First putt of the day.
Yeah, once you get down that hill, you're even looking up at that basket. That's a tough putt. John Albert's a longtime Seattle guy. He's used to these fairways, though. He knows what he's doing out here.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure with playing with John a couple of times on some cards, and he's a great putter, so I'm sure we'll see him banging some home later in the round.
Yeah, so you see Tyler Schrock cashing that putt. This hole actually came in as the third easiest hole of the day, an average about 2.7. So everybody's looking to get it. You're looking to gain strokes on the field there.
Yeah, this is one that you really don't want to miss, but it actually, the stats look like it played just under par. Here's Phillip.
Phillip lining up his putt.
Nice shot.
Good hit.
Yeah, cool nerves on that first putt of his tournament. It's great.
And John Albert just kind of cleaning up. So 3 out of 4. I mean, that plays. That's exactly what you're used to seeing. Hole 7 here, 356 feet. Tyler Schrock lining up. It's actually going to be just over those hedges to the right that you see there, and deep in the far position. Schrock throwing a turnover, which I would say is probably the most common play here.
Yeah, that backhanded turnover. Is that what you usually throw here, Kirby?
I do, yeah. Do you know what you threw here?
I throw a comet over the top with a nice turn, trying to get it to stable out kind of right at the end, scooting up to the basket. But how about you?
Oh, yeah, you're golden.
I was actually throwing a Leopard 3. Fun stat about this, you, myself, and Noah Baker were the only 3 to birdie it throughout the day. Or throughout round 1, at least.
Yeah, it's a really tricky kind of finesse hole because, one, getting over that bush is the number one goal, and then once you get over that, you're kind of happy with your shot, but a really good shot can get through kind of the other obstacles on the other side of that bush. This looks great from John. That's kind of exactly the shape of the disc.
Ideal.
Yeah, exactly. I like Dallas's
Garber
play
giving
here.
himself, this is a solid little par attempt.
Yeah, Scott Stokely.
Throwing a bird to get up there and just absolutely pinning it, taking his par, stress-free, walking away.
And I like that play from Dallas.
Phillip on
just
the other
shooting
side
right
of the
over
bush
to the
there.
left.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. 10 feet. Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely the stress-free play for sure.
Yeah.
And Schrock looks like he's doing some of the sort.
Tyler's doing a nice shot. And so, see, even with John's great shot over the top of that, he must have hit, last-minute branch or something like that. It's really tricky to get up into this gap. But he cleans up real well, looks like.
Yeah, he gave that a nice little run. You got to give it an attempt from back there.
Exactly. And with John's putting skills, I think it makes sense for him to go for it.
Yep. Dallas getting his par. And
rest of the players going to clean up here. Walking away with par on hole 7 feels good. Feels fine.
Yeah, no problem. Probably a good time to mention the weather. This morning was extremely foggy, I remember, and there were certain fairways where you couldn't even really see the basket ahead of you.
I know. I remember driving in. I was like, who did?
Tyler Schrock lining up what I imagine is one of his traces. And yeah, hole 8's one of the stock hyzer shots for most of the MPO field, coming in at 384 feet. I mean, it's just straight and left.
Yeah, really nice shot from these first two, kind of hitting that gap and then having it fade out. Dallas's fade's a little bit less, but he'll have a nice approach from there.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. Most of those struggles that you'll see here is getting through that gap there, but once you're through there, you're pretty clean, and I would say that's a pretty common misplay for most players, is you just kind of try to flip one out a little too straight.
Mm-hmm. John trying to get that to flip a little bit. Can he get around the second tree? Nice shot.
Big skip at the end there. I don't think he's going to have any problem at least running a putt from there.
Yeah, and it's an interesting shot because it's kind of a tweener for some of the bigger arms. It's between a kind of a control driver and a power driver. What are you throwing on this, Kirby?
I usually throw a destroyer, but I'll kind of muscle down a little bit, just kind of like try to go more for a control shot than a power shot to get down there and let the disc do most of the work.
Yeah.
Something, just really anything overstable. What about you? What are you throwing here?
I go between a CD3 and a Wraith, actually. The Wraith, I find, kicks left when it hits close to the basket, which leaves me with a long putt, and that CD3 is just touchy enough when I really have to put some muscle on it. So I keep going back and forth. But these are great shots from the card here. Tyler lining up this putt. Super
just
close, right side, yeah.
Yeah, just a little outside, hitting pro side of the chains. Phillip lining up his par putt.
Think back to Tyler's putt. Tyler's one of those players where if you're a beginner is looking to like really understand consistency in putting, Tyler's a great person to watch because he does the exact same thing before every single putt. It's something that has gotten him, to elevate his game, it seems.
Yeah, he's a guy who is a model for consistency for sure. If you watch, like you said, from his putting all the way down to him teeing off on every tee pad, he has the same routine every shot. He has the same mentality. He's great to play with for that reason. Is you have a good pace on him, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So hole 9 here, the hardest hole on the course, 428 feet. It averaged 3.63, which is about 2/3 of a stroke over par. And That's going to be one of the reasons why. Is one of those early kicks can put you in real trouble territory.
Yeah, and a kick like that almost certainly leads to at least a 4. We'll see what Tyler's looking at from there, but you know, every time you get off to that left side, you're just trying to get back onto the fairway, and it's what makes it a great hole, but it's what makes it a really challenging hole.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the better holes here at SeaTac. John Albert throwing a great shot. That's what you mostly see is a lot of guys trying to flip one up. I really like Dallas's play, though, where you just kind of get to that rock in the middle, and then you have an opportunity to just kind of like pitch up and get up to the basket with a little hyzer. And Phillip looks like he's doing a lot of the same. But yeah, that tree right there, getting behind that guy can be also tricky to kind of pitch out and around.
Here's Tyler from that left side. He's trying to hyzer one in to get some ground play, trying to scoot up to the basket. We'll see where he lands. Looks a bit short, but a nice approach shot. Yeah, I think, Kirby, that rock is kind of exactly where you're trying to land the disc. If you're, that's a great shot. It's a controlled shot. Pretty manageable, and then you have a nice approach to the basket, couple 150 feet.
And Tyler just kind of throwing an approach up there. He's going to take his bogey and he's going to walk away. You know, from where he was, bogey is really, like you said before, one of the best possible options. Dallas was a nice.
No, this is going to be the theme all day at SeaTac is if you get off that fairway, you really just want to kind of pick up your bogey and walk away, or pick up your par and walk away. Trying to go and be a little bit too aggressive is what gets you in trouble at SeaTac.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If you hit your lines off the tee, there's a lot of birdies that could be had. But if you're off the fairway, sometimes you kind of just need to take your medicine. Yeah,
exactly right. Here's Phillip. Phillip's lining up his par putt here. This is probably 40 out. Oh, that's a nice great putt.
Let's go. Nice job, Phillip.
Phillip's looking good so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good guy. I've seen him around a lot. I'm glad to see him making the move up to MPO. Definitely think he has the skills to, make some things happen.
No doubt. Yeah, funny enough, I think the first ever tournament when I moved out to Seattle 3.5 years ago, I played, Phillip was on my card, first card.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Nice full circle.
I was, I think, intermediate, it was an intermediate division, and we were both kind of playing one of our first tournaments in White River.
Oh, fun. Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Here's hole 10. Yeah. Hole 10 is a 280 foot shot. Really, you have kind of trees on the left and trees on the right, but you're trying to get around this kind of bunch of trees in the middle. And so common shots are kind of Anheuser backhands that will fade back to the middle there, kind of like Tyler's shot here. That's a great shot. And then I've even seen some people throw the forehand off to the left that kind of curls back in to the basket. Let's check out Dallas's shot here. Nice shot.
I think if you have a really, really strong forehand, that's probably the simpler shot and the straighter shot to the basket. But it's a really touchy forehand for most of us backhand dominant players. So kind of getting one to fade out towards the basket is definitely the play for us.
Yeah, this is such an interesting shot. It seems so simple, but it's such a touchy kind of backhand, and those trees make it so that your disc becomes a little bit unpredictable.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of just trees in circle one, and nice putt from Schrock. Rocking the putt, rocking the beard, looking good, doing it all, no problems.
It's true, man knows his way around the disc golf course. Here's Phillip after his drive here, huh? It's a great shot.
Yeah, he really, hit that exact line. That pair of trees behind him, if you can split that or just get past those, looking real good, which he is. Nice hit.
Nice. We're well on our way to a star frame here. Let's see.
Yeah, bag
Great
on.
job by
John
the
Albert's
card
like, let's
here.
get to the next hole. Let's go.
I know, and I've just talked about how like difficult of a shot it is. It's, I guess not.
You don't get a star frame ever, man.
There you go.
Another one that feels reachable in summer for not as much.
All right, hole 11, 401 feet. John Albert stepping up. This is a shot that, you know, it's a low 401 feet. Most of the power throwers can get there, but because it is so low, you really can't get it just too high. And it's a pretty tight little window to fall into. You see John kind of just getting one off a little too much to the right. What do you like to throw here, Christian?
Yeah, this one is one of those. I think I couldn't have described it better than you just did. It's this low, kind of longer shot, and it gets lower as the distance increases, and so your disc kind of has to be perfect right off of the release. Anything too high, anything too low are just gonna kind of burn out or hit early. And then I think a lot of shots end up kind of like Tyler's here, where you're controlling for that, so you're arming down a little bit, and then it fades out. It's another really nice shot, difficult shot. Pretty easy to get par, but really hard to birdie. So I throw a wraith on this, but again, touchy shot. How about you?
For sure. I'm throwing probably either Zeus or Destroyer, kind of depending on what the wind situation's like.
Yeah.
Pretty solid shots from Dallas and most of the card here. I really like Dallas just kind of landing in the fairway there. Phillip biting off almost all of the fairway, just kind of having a little pitch up. But Dallas definitely looking like he's having the easiest shot, and looks like he's forehanding a berg up there.
Yeah, I'm liking Dallas's game so far. For such a young kid, he's playing a really kind of mature game, not trying to bite too much off, and just picking up kind of pars and birdies when he can get them. Pretty impressed.
Yeah, it seems like he understands his game and what his talents are, and that's so difficult. It's so hard to, you know, not tell yourself that I can make it there. You know, if you know I can only make it so far, and this is my game and this is my shot, you don't try to deviate from your game plan.
Yeah, it's true.
And there he goes.
And I feel like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of younger players I've played with are kind of coming out trying to impress some of the guys, you know, especially having kind of Tyler and Phillip and John on your card. You know, there might be a tendency to try to like really bite off some distance, but Dallas is just playing his game, like you said. Rest of the card cleaning up their pars here. It's a pretty common, I think, 10 through 13, I'm just trying to pick up par. I think par is a pretty good score.
Yeah, I mean, this whole average 3.16, so if you're getting par here, you're doing just fine. You're with the field.
Yeah.
Hole 12 here, one of the more difficult holes to birdie on the course, at least. I'd say that roller play is probably the most common play. What do you think?
Yeah. Hole 12 is interesting. It sounds like when the course was made, all of these trees that these players are trying to roll around were a lot lower, and so you could actually air shot it up there. But with the kind of trees where they're positioned now, with the height of them, it's really hard to get an air shot. You mentioned Noah Baker before, and he's a guy that I play a lot of disc golf with, and he can actually kind of shoot the kind of Anheuser fade shot through the right. But besides that, the only other people I've seen who can air shot it down to the basket are the guys who have huge power forehands. I go roller here, and I think that's the most common shot I see for sure.
Yeah. Now that everybody's put their drives out there, I want to shout out David Konoplev. He was the only birdie of round one of this hole, and yeah, it's not surprising. Look at it. It's a beast.
It is, yeah. And all of these guys are showing you kind of like pretty common areas to get your disc caught up. Let's see what Tyler does here. Nice forehand out. Got to get under that. He kind of fought through. That's nice.
Yeah, he's circle one. He's got that all day. Dallas looks like he's setting up a high, probably Anheuser forehand here.
He's fighting over these evergreens here. Off to the right a bit. John's landing spot here is probably that's a nice landing spot. Pretty easy shot up to the basket.
Phillip looking to line up a long putt. Let's see if he can convert it.
Oh, that was looking good too.
Yeah, nice out of his hand, but that's the trouble of this hole is even once you get towards the basket, you still have like weird windows, you still have low ceilings. Stuff just kind of gets in your way.
Yeah, see, I think, and that's exactly what I'm talking about with trying to attack when the opportunity is given. That's a great hit by Dallas.
Wow. Yeah,
cool, calm, collected. Yeah, the kid puts it in. That's nice.
Yeah, put it on a baseball card.
For sure, he's like, get me out of here. I don't have to do that putt again. Here's Phillip.
Not
just
quite
a bit low
on that one. Yeah.
Tyler cleaning up. That's a nice putt.
Yeah, I mean,
with both.
Schrock played it pretty much textbook as to how you want to see it.
Yeah.
John Albert just picking up his par. Everyone's like, I just want to get out of here. Bring me to hole 13.
Yeah. Hole 13, pretty similar to hole 12. Just a bit longer, but a lot of trees to kind of fend off and to fight through. I think roller is a pretty common shot I see here. I also see sometimes some flexy backhands. Yeah, this is a great shot.
Jeez.
It's hard to get it to fade out like that in the fairway and not have it kind of rifle off to the right. And John's showing us exactly that kind of touch on that roller. That's perfect.
Yeah, I also like to throw the roller here. Yeah, I also like to throw the roller here. I think it just makes the most sense. You see Tyler kind of kicking off to the left there. That's a pretty common play if you hit one of those early trees. See what Dallas does. Going for the air shot, and it looks like he's just playing for position, and that's smart. I mean,
super smart. Like I said, last two holes, walking away with par is exactly what you want to do, and Dallas is setting himself up for the best for his game.
Phillip looks like he's trying to do a lot of the same, just kind of hitting a little early tree there. Should have an okay approach shot here.
Yep.
Yeah, once you get through that early jail there, it does like open up a bunch. It's just getting through that early jail. That's the struggle.
Yep, exactly. Are you throwing the same roller on hole 12 as you are on hole 13?
Pretty much.
Like, same disc?
I mean, yeah, essentially. I just wanted to get down and moving quickly,
Right. That's funny. SeaTac is like one of the few courses where I have specific discs that I'll just throw for one hole, and hole 12 and hole 13 are one of those instances.
They each have their own special place in your bag.
I have one disc that I throw on hole 12 that I literally don't throw on any other course in Seattle or ever.
That you ever play. It just sits in the car until you roll up at SeaTac, and you're like, oh yeah,
exactly.
I can find you again.
Yep.
That's hilarious. I love that.
It's a super beat champion turn that has in Sharpie written all over it, like, please return, like, reward. I called the guy, and he was like, I hate that disc, like, just keep it. And usually I'll like donate some of those discs, but I needed a roller because I wanted to try it on 12, and it like was perfect for it, so I just kept it, and I was like, all right, man, thanks you. Appreciate it.
That's great. Nice putt from Tyler Schrock. Nice putt from Dallas Garber. Schrock walking away with his bogey. He's not happy about it, but like you said, par is no problem. And John Albert having an awesome drive, just kind of pulling it a bit high and wide.
Yeah, that's really unlike him. Let's see if he can clean up his par putt. There you go. That's a nice shot.
Solid hit. He was just too close.
Yeah, walks down. He's like, whoa.
So now that we're wrapping up this hole, 0 birdies on the day for hole 13, which is not exactly surprising.
No, it's not. It's interesting that it's not too far away from par, though. So par is pretty easy to clean up, but yeah, no birdies.
Here we are in hole 14. Maybe one of my favorite pure golf shots on the course. It's 350 feet. It's slightly downhill. It's a straight tunnel that just gets narrower and narrower as you go down there. If you can throw 325 feet dead straight, you can birdie this hole, but that's a very demanding shot to do for any field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is kind of the quintessential, if you're looking to get good at disc golf, this is a hole that you want to practice on. It's a dead straight, like you talked about, a little bit of a downhill, but what it really has you focus on is kind of pinpointing that straight, pure shot that you talked about. If you can hit early and scoot up to the basket, that's ideal. But getting through this gap that Phillip's throwing here is the challenge for sure.
And that's a second forehand we've seen out of Tyler Schrock today, and that might be 2 more forehands than he's thrown in his last 5 tournaments.
Does he not usually throw forehand?
No, he and I laugh about how often he and I don't throw forehands when we play courses.
I knew that about you for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. He and I are the two where it's just like, you're throwing backhand, right? It's like, what do you think? So I like seeing him branch his game out. I know he's been working on it, so it's good to see some of those results.
Yeah, and not to, I don't want to call you out too much, but was this the first SeaTac tournament that you were playing with Tyler after that epic battle that you guys had at the last one, or had you played before, or in between that?
Yeah, he and I have, we played a couple of practice rounds and stuff like that, and yeah, we had that battle. I think you were on that card, right?
Yeah,
going into that last hole. Yeah, every time we go to hole 24, he and I kind of give each other a little smirk, and we laugh and kind of talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. That was great. We're on hole 15 right now. It's an slightly uphill shot, 250 feet. Tricky because of these bushes that you're seeing here kind of right off the tee pad. They don't really get in your way, but as you're walking up to release the disc, you're just seeing them. And so the temptation is to kind of shoot a little bit high, which means that your disc fades off to the left. And to overcompensate, then you're starting to fight with these big evergreen trees on the right here. So it's kind of an uphill, straight 250, pretty simple shot, but can get tricky. These guys all look like they had pretty good shots.
Yeah, that's all solid. Everything you said there is totally true. It's a very specific male slot that you got to put the disc, not too high, not too low, and almost the best shots are running straight at the basket, but just kind of falling short. And what a putt from Dallas! My goodness,
that's a nice putt. Yeah, it's hitting
Very
the right
clean
side of it. Great release.
This putt's
And
looking smooth.
I'm impressive. Yeah, I'm impressed with his game. John just off to the right.
He's usually got such a strong putt too. It's a shame to see.
Great putt by Phillip. Cleaning up his birdie. It's back to even. Playing a really competitive game here. Here's Tyler.
So this hole came in as the second easiest and averaged 2.56 on the day. And as you can see, we had 3 out of 4 birdies with a splash out, so that holds true.
Yep. And we move on to hole 16, which Kirby, what were the stats on 16?
Well, we'll talk about that in the next video. See you later, bud. Thank you again to our
That's right.
sponsors, and thank you, Christian, for joining me today.
Appreciate it.